Loss clings like sea air on a woolen jumper. The English coastline is made up of 3 grey stripes. Sky at the top, sea at the bottom, and an in-between. Paul's mother looked at that in-between, at the cliffs and the rocks and the boulders and the stones, and saw Paul. She stood staring, and the rain came and stood with her, waiting patiently to be walked through. Looking at something was making nothing better. Better, perhaps, to make something out of nothing. She considered returning to her studio for the first time since the telegram, but instead went walking along paths for those that kept themselves to themselves, and the rain hung about her, caught between its launch and its landing. Some young men were butchers' boys, or bakers' boys, or basket makers. Some young men became soldiers, became pilots, became sailors. Some young men had come back to be fishermen or farmers. Some young men have not come back, and all we've left is pictures. When the rain exhausted itself, Paul's mother would sit on the sea wall and listen to rough fishermen curse rough seas for rough luck. Or she'd walk the hedgerows and the ploughed rows where the scarecrows grow. On the days that were drier than they were wet, she walked the foamy tightrope where the sea meets the land, combing the shingle for the perfect pebble. Egg-shaped or button-shaped, shaped like body parts or car parts, smaller than or bigger than pebbles, worse than or better than pebbles, flints that had both glassy shear and bony knobble, stones that were crinkle-cut or teethy ridged, pebbles that fitted perfectly in one hand, but felt all wrong in the other. Heavy or heavier still pebbles, or now and then weirdly weightless pebbles. The sea, which had spent the year experimenting with browny-green metallic greys, now fixed black against its winter-white neighbour. Tap, 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 crattled its way through the village. Tap, 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 settling slowly into a rhythm that sounded something like skipping. Methodically, as though she were combing it for nits, she knocked edges off edges and corners off corners. Paul's mother rolled out a stone, first one, then another, and another like the other, over and over, 19 in total. The villagers stared at them, and the stones stared back, faceless but familiar. When light shone through them, they softened, see-through like the lit end of a candle, and at night they were silhouetted against the sky like sleeping giants. For those who came that had lost a son, that is what they'd see. For those who'd lost their truest love, in the sculpture they would be. Those left blind could feel it, the lonely there could meet, the children could all climb upon, the old could rest their feet. In the place that Paul had loved the most stood 19 stones, and the sign that read, "Love remembers."